Hey guys, this is Stu. I want to give everybody a quick update on what I've been up to. I haven't really done a whole lot on my Model A pickup. I've been kind of dealing with some other issues. I got an S10 pickup that I drive every day, and I've been having some issues with it wanting to stumble a little bit at over 50 miles an hour, which I originally thought maybe was the fuel pump, because I've been driving that truck since 2008, and I've never ever really done a whole lot to it other than when I first bought it, it was wrecked. I painted a bedside and a tailgate and a back bumper and a front bumper and a hood. Outside of that, I've never really done a whole lot to it. It's always been a really reliable little pickup. Put a drive shaft in it one time, several times. But anyway, over here lately it's been stumbling over 50 miles an hour, so I decided, well, I'll get on Rock Auto and order me a Delphi fuel pump for it. So I did, because the fuel pump that was in was getting really loud, so I was like, it was time anyway. It needed a fuel pump probably 3 years ago, so I went ahead and put a fuel pump in it. But still, that didn't fix the problem. And at the time that I ordered the fuel pump, I went ahead and ordered a rotor and new distributor cap for it as well, and put all that stuff on, and it didn't really help the stumbling, so I made the assumption that it was multiple random misfires what I was dealing with instead of a fuel related issue. So I put new plug wires on it, and that actually fixed the problem. So that was that. As far as my pickup, I think on my last video I was finished up with the interior. That's where I left that, and I've been moving more towards the back of the truck, mainly inside of the bed, finishing it out. I decided to go red oak, and while I'm talking about that, there's a website called bedwoodandparts.com that has a link that can show you basically a generic truck and you can change the colors to whatever your color your truck is, and change the woods, and it'll show you what it will look like in your truck, whether it's a straight grain, maple, walnut, whatever, quarter cut, any of that. It'll show you any of that. So that's a pretty handy site. I decided to go with red oak. I actually was going to go down and get the wood for this project Friday after I got off work, but it was raining, so I decided to wait until it was a little drier out. Oak isn't really a wood I want to get wet, but anyhow, I started laying all this stuff off and trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do back here. Originally, I think I was going to have the two outboard boards stationary and have the rest of them be hinged up there with maybe some kind of a shock mounting system to hold it up. What I didn't like about that was the amount of lumber that I'd be raising up, and the strength of the hinges that I was kind of limited on hinges that I could use up there, and how to mount them. So due to the fact that everything bolts along here to hold the bedwood in, my hinge would have had to probably been mounted to this. I didn't want to have to be able to see that between the cab and the front of the bed. So I changed that to, instead of that, opening it up this way. And then I ran into the amount of surface that I wanted to move was going to run into this lip here. So I changed it again to split it in half and have one side open up this way and one side open up this way, which I kind of like that. But then you got clearance issues on hinges and stuff like that, and the amount of hinges that it would take because that's a big area there. So I didn't like that part, but then I got to thinking, the batteries are designed to come out from the bottom. The transmission cooler should be okay for quite a while. So even if I had that all open up, it won't help me very much with getting the batteries out. It would help with getting the transmission cooler out, but it's also been designed to come out through the bottom. So what I elected to do was to stop overthinking it, for lack of a better word, and just have it back here. I want to have a door back here. It'll stop about right in this area here. It'll just hinge up, and that'll access this and the sending unit should I need to. Ordered the strips, stainless steel strips, and the hardware for mounting it. What's ended up going to happen is, this is actually the footprint of what it's going to look like when it's all done. Here's what it actually looks like if you cut them to factory size, is this here. These two boards here on each end are going to be glued together. The groove for the strips I will route with a hand router and an 1/8 inch bit up and down both sides. The center board, which is this one, it was going to be where the gas tank filler is, and that's what that shows there. It'll be the only one that's actually cut like what they want it to be cut at, like that. And it'll end right here. And then I'll cut my door out of the rest of the board. And then these are the hinges that I'll be using. These are Detmer hinges. And it'll hinge up like that. And this little mini latch is what'll, and striker, this is what'll, you'll push down on it, it'll pop up, there'll be a little finger pull up here, and you'll come around and you can do what you got to do and then shut it and pop it. There'll be one here and here. It'll have a nice even gap all the way around it. Like I said, these two boards are going to be glued together, and the positive of that is all these mounting hardwares here can be put in before this is even hooked into the bed. And the only ones I'll have to put in are this one, you know, the ones around the perimeter, because they're the business end up holding it in the bed anyway. So that'll be a plus there. Now this board here, the center board, that is going to be the like normal board. It'll have the same gap. It'll be from here to there. It'll be cut the 5 3/4, and it'll just get notched out around here, and then all the way across, and that will, what the drop off will be, actually be the door. So that'll be like that. That'll be like that. Then you'll have the hinge, and I may add a hinge here. Then you'll have two mini latches, one there and one there. I like to use two because then I can kind of control my water lines height, the height of it. By that I mean water line. So there may be another hinge here in the middle. But that'll get me where I need to have access to this area here and the fuel sending unit. So like I said, hopefully early next week, middle of next week, I will go get the bed wood and start that process. I'm a woodworker by trade. I do a lot of woodworking, but I don't have any woodworking stuff here. So I have to go over to a buddy's house to use all of his planers, joiners, you know, all that kind of thing. I have to go over there. I have automotive stuff. When I walk out of work, I walk out of work. So, and one other thing, I did have to work on my tractor too. Just gotta look at this. A little windy out. What are you doing? Sierra. It's my dog, Sierra. My tractor wasn't starting. I have to beat on the damn starter to get it to start. It has a dead spot in it. So I ordered a new starter from eBay because the one at John Deere was $279, and there's no way in hell I'll ever pay that for a starter. So I ordered this one off eBay. You see that? See how that shiny bolt there? I don't know if you can see that or not. That's the... No. Yeah, that shiny bolt right there. That is the starter. This whole tractor has to come apart to get that son of a bitch out of there. The front clip has to come off all the fairings, the shrouds, all that has to come off to get that starter out. The motor has to be physically raised up. All the motor mounts have to come off just to get that thing off. and a new one put on. It literally took 2 evenings worth of work to change the starter. It's kind of hard. As much work as it was to put that starter in there, it's really hard to put a Taiwan starter in it. But you got to do what you got to do. So anyhow, guys, that's what's been going on. Hoping the grass will dry so I can mow. Anyway, guys, that's what's been going on. Thanks for watching. Bye.